Hello and welcome to our channel. Today I am excited to talk to you and share with you information about an iconic and very important fashion designer from our history, and her name is Ann Lowe. I am excited to share about her first because I have always respected her and I always loved her clothes, the fashion that she made, and I think her story is very important and fascinating, everything that happened in her life. She is being celebrated posthumously, especially right now at the Couture Museum in Delaware. They are doing an incredible exhibit right now, which we are going to put lots of pictures from that exhibit in this video. But if you have not heard of her, I think it's an important thing to share about, and we're going to talk about Ann Lowe in this video. Ann Lowe. She wasn't just a designer. She was a visionary and a trailblazer and an unsung hero of the fashion world. Born in the rural South in the late 1890s, Ann Lowe's story is one of talent, perseverance, and resilience. She learned to sew at an incredibly young age from her mother and grandmother. And they were not just any dressmakers. They were the go-to seamstresses for the elite in Montgomery, Alabama. Imagine the skills and secrets of a high-end fashion being passed down through generation right into Ann's home. But Ann's journey wasn't an easy one. When she moved to New York City in 1917 with her son, she faced the harsh realities of segregation. She was required to attend classes in a room alone at the S.T. Taylor Design School. Her talent was so undeniable that her work became a teaching tool for her peers. And she graduated in just 6 months, a testament to her incredible skill and determination. Ann's career was a series of groundbreaking moments. In the 1920s, she opened her first dress salon in Tampa, Florida. It quickly became a success, catering to the who's who of society. Then moving back to New York City in the late 1920s, she became a sought-after designer for the high society. Ann's designs were unique, luxurious, and exquisitely crafted. She had an amazing ability to create garments that were both artistic and wearable. We are going to bring in Kit Anderson from the Cincinnati Art Museum, who's going to share more about Ann Lowe's life and share 2 of the dresses that are on display at the Cincinnati Art Museum.
Hi, this is Cam Look, a video program from the Cincinnati Art Museum offered each weekday at 10 that gives you a glimpse into items in the museum. I'm Kit. I'm a docent, and today we're going to look at something frivolous and graceful and lovely, 2 designer dresses from the Fashion and Textile collection. Let me introduce Ann Lowe, a trailblazing Black designer who dressed the rich and famous throughout her career, including Jackie Kennedy. Born in 1898 in Alabama, she learned to sew from her mother and grandmother, very accomplished seamstresses who opened a successful dress shop in Montgomery. Ann also studied briefly in New York City, but she encountered terrible racial prejudice and left after a few months to open her own shop in Tampa. Her Florida clients loved what she did for their figures and helped make her a success in that city for about 10 years. But she was restless and wanted more, and in 1929 she went back to New York, where she worked without credit for a number of years in the high-end department stores, honing her skills and learning about the tastes of so-called society women. By the 30s and 40s, she had developed a fine clientele, creating gowns, ensembles for fundraisers, cocktail parties, that kind of thing. 2 dresses here. The first is a predominantly red silk dress, dated somewhere in the 30s. It's got an overall red, green, and white print, and there's a matching belt. The second is a blue dress that includes a matching fitted jacket. You really can't see that very well, but trust me, that's what it is, and a covered belt. I hope you can tell from the photographs that they're both very feminine and very fluid. And here is the label that Ann had sewn into each garment that she made. Her career finally caught fire in the 40s and 50s when her evening gowns and bridal wear were sold coast to coast in high-end department stores and from her very swanky Madison Avenue salon. Jaclyn Bouvier wanted a French couture gown for her wedding to John Kennedy, but her powerful soon-to-be father-in-law Joseph Kennedy said no way. That would send the wrong political message. And so in 1953, Ann Lowe was hired to design Jackie's wedding gown and the bridesmaids' gowns as well. She was very proud of this commission, but disaster struck in the form of a plumbing accident, and the work was ruined in her studio just a few days before delivery. She had to recreate it entirely out of her own pocket. When she went to Jackie's home to deliver the gowns, she was told by whoever answered the door that she needed to go around the back. Anne put her foot down and absolutely refused, saying she'd take her work back to New York if she wasn't admitted through the front door immediately. But it would be until after the Kennedy assassination that she finally received credit for her work. Her work in the 50s started to gain tremendous publicity, and she was featured in several national magazines as the best-kept secret in fashion. Vanity Fair, Saturday Evening Post, and Ebony all did large stories on Anne and her career. Today, when we look at these gowns, we're looking at more than just pretty frocks that are well-made and flattering to the figure. We're looking at the courage and innovation and ambition of a genuine fashion pioneer. Anne died in 1981, largely forgotten, but today, finally, she's getting her due.
Thank you so much, Kit. That was so fascinating. So as we saw in Kit's clip, the iconic wedding dress, the Jaclyn Kennedy wedding dress. So let's talk about that. This is a story of sheer determination. So just days before the wedding in 1953, a flood ruined the original dress. But Anne and her indomitable spirit recreated the entire gown from scratch. It's not just about sewing a dress, it's about creating a masterpiece under pressure. Despite her immense talent, Ann Lowe's journey was filled with challenges. She often didn't receive proper credit for her work. Imagine creating Oscar-winning gowns and not being recognized for it. Financial struggles were also a constant in her life. Her clients, though wealthy, frequently negotiated lower prices, which affected her earnings. It is a poignant reminder of the struggles faced by artists, particularly women and minorities in these times. But through it all, Ann Lowe remained a force to be reckoned with. Her legacy lives on in the halls of the Metropolitan Museum of Art at the Smithsonian. She is a symbol of elegance, resilience, and unyielding spirit of creativity. I want to talk more about the iconic Jaclyn Kennedy wedding dress. So that whole story is amazing and fascinating and sad, and the dress is an incredible dress. It's so beautiful, and it is actually very fragile, so it is not able to be on display at the Winterthur Museum, but the University of Delaware's fashion department remade the dress from every exact detail, and we have some behind the scenes on that, so let's take a look.
I spent 3 days at the JFK library where I documented every detail of the dress. I measured every section of it. I looked at the grain lines of the fabric. I evaluated the construction and went back to my home studio and I documented everything there. I took many sketches and then I recreated the pattern and did all of the sourcing of the fabrics and trims. There are numerous details that make this gown the culmination of Ann Lowe's work. She has this pleating technique across the bust line. She has another pleating technique around the rib cage of the garment. The swags and how she develops and manipulates the fabric is a signature Ann Lowe technique. And then how she created her corset, you see in a lot of other gowns as well. I had so much fun making the dress, discovering different ways to make the little wax bouquet flowers, also figuring out all the math in order to purchase the right amount of fabric was a fun challenge. And then finding a way to create the petticoat. It was really interesting to see how her techniques really were the right thing to do in order to create that volume. The reproduction is significant because it's truly documenting a master coutureur's techniques. This gown is so representative of her life's work that it's just been an honor to make sure that they're all documented and that every last part of it can be shared with the public.
Talk about beautiful fashion. Her outfits and her designs take my breath away when I see them. I just think they are so incredibly gorgeous. I wish we had them for all of our dolls. I wish I had them for me. It would be a dream one day to find an Ann Lowe original at a thrift store. We know what the tags look like now, and now you know who she is. So if you ever find one, you have a piece of history, an incredible piece of history. So before we wrap up, we are going to do a beautiful slideshow of pictures of many of her designs that she has done, pictures at the Couture Museum that is happening right now. If you are anywhere close to that museum, I encourage you to go. I am not able to go, but it looks amazing and it is happening right now. So I hope you enjoyed this brief history of the wonderful and amazingly talented Ann Lowe, and we will be bringing you more fashion history in the future. So thank you so much for being here, and happy 2024. Bye.